subscribe button. Also, smash that like button if you like the content. Today, we're going to do the Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter breakdown. All right. The fight is going to be this weekend on ESPN Top Rank. It's going to be a pay-per-view scrap. So I should be here Saturday to cover the fight, do live commentary with you guys. Should be a fun night. So let's get right into it. I don't have a lot of time, and I'm already pissed off that I'm going, it's Thursday already, and I've been wanting to talk about this fight since last week. Just haven't had the time, haven't put much content out this week, but I will be here Saturday to do live commentary for sure. So make sure you guys come back and check me out Saturday night. All right. So look, Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford, basically both of them are coming into this fight, haven't fought in a year. All right. Last time Bud fought, he fought Kell Brook in a fight that ended short, about four-round fight. He only fought once last year on top of that. So both of these guys haven't been that active. All right. So that was his last fight. He fought him last November. Shawn Porter last fight was against Sebastian Formella. He fought like last August at some time. All right. This was pretty much, I don't want to say a tune-up because it was definitely some sort of sanctioning body position. Like I think it was some kind of, it was some sort of, was a eliminator or something with the WBC. They always have some sort of eliminator. But anyway, Shawn Porter was able to beat Formella to a decision last August. Okay. And before that, he had his loss to Errol Spence. And, what the big deal about this fight really is, what can Bud do against a fighter on a level of Shawn Porter? People believe that he hasn't fought a guy on a level of Shawn Porter or any of the top welterweights because of politics. All right. Terence Crawford is with Top Rank, and the majority of the best welters are over there with the PBC. Okay. And because of this, he hasn't gotten the fights with the Thurmans, the Garcias, the Spences of the world, and all of those guys. So we already know all about that, right? He has, since he moved up, he was able to beat Jeff Horn, who was coming off with a win against Manny Pacquiao. He was able to fight Jose Benavidez. He was able to fight Igas Kavalaskis, Amir Khan, Kell Brook, and now Shawn Porter. All right. So look, Shawn Porter, his resume is stacked as a welterweight. He's been in there with everybody. He's been in there with Danny Garcia, got win over him. He got a win over Yordenis Ugas, all right, who just recently beat Manny Pacquiao. He also has fought Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, right? Took his first loss to Kell Brook, but all of them were tough fights. All of them were close fights. The majority of them was split decision, majority decision, whatever. All right, but all good fights. Shawn Porter's vastly experienced. He's been in there with everybody at welterweight. All right. So Shawn Porter is like a guy that loves to ambush you. He has a crazy amount of speed, great hand speed, good foot speed, on the shorter end of the welterweight division. All right. Doesn't have a long reach, doesn't have a lot of height, but he is able to close the gap very quickly. And he's able to be physically exhausting for his opponents. All right. He smothers you. He outworks you. It's all about volume and speed with Shawn Porter. All right. Keep attacking. Stay on his opponents, especially on the inside. Work the body. Just keep throwing punches. Even when it's tied up, even when he's smothering himself at times, he's just outworking you. He's hitting you all over the place. All right. But he's improved over the years. Okay. He has boxed. He has boxed well. He can box very well. All right. He can counter well. He has good timing. He has great angles as well. And people don't really give him enough credit for him because a lot of people just feel that he just likes to fight rough, which is what he does. And that's what he's going to do. But he's going to mix that in with the boxing a lot better. All right. But Shawn Porter, his biggest weakness is sometimes he overextends himself when he's trying to get in. Sometimes he reaches a little too far out, and he sets himself to get countered. Depending on, he's been in there with southpaws, he's been in there with orthodox fighters. Depending on who he's facing, his opponents has found different ways of countering him and timing him. All right. Even though he's very fast, people can really time him on the outside. All right. Another thing too, when we saw the Ugas fight, Ugas is a very elite counter puncher, and Ugas was able to time him on the tee. You know, he made Shawn Porter slow down, and also when Shawn Porter got on the inside, he was able to work Shawn Porter's body, which is one thing that Shawn Porter normally does to his opponents. Ugas was able to attack his body. Yes, he took some shots and counters up top, but he was investing to the body in order to make Shawn Porter slow down. Shawn Porter was very hesitant when he came in on Ugas because he was fighting a bigger man that worked the body whatever chance he had the opportunity to, right? So it was a tough fight for Shawn. You know, Shawn's been in there with guys like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, another guy that took advantage of the mistakes that Shawn Porter made when he would lunge in at times. Keith Thurman had the foot work and the ability to step back and counter as Shawn Porter always lunged in. He was able to time him. All right. Same thing with Kell Brook. Kell Brook was able to use his legs, move laterally, had a great 1-2 with time Porter as he would lunge in with overhand rights. All right. So there's points where Shawn Porter, if he loses a fight, it's because he got outboxed. All right. Spence, on the other hand, brawled with him, but he was able to outbox him at the same time, land the cleaner punches between the two. This is the reason why I think Spence won the fight. Was also able to catch him and knock him down, drop him once. All right. Shawn Porter, chin of iron, has great recovery. All right. He's been knocked down. He's been hurt, but he has the quickest recovery we've seen in some of the top elite fighters. All right. You hit him. I mean, you might rock him here and there. You might catch him with a good shot. You might even knock him down, but he's never been badly hurt. You know what I'm saying? He's always recovered very quickly. So if you have him hurt, you catch him with a good shot, you give him a few seconds, and he's right back on you. You know, Terence Crawford. If I'm going to describe him, he's literally, you know, if you're into Mortal Kombat, if you're into video games, he's basically the Shang Tsung of boxing. He can literally do everything that any fighter can do that's currently boxing. He can do everything. All right. And sorry for the outside noise, but a lot of traffic in front. But listen, Terence Crawford can do everything. All right. And what I mean by that is all of the fighters that I just mentioned that Shawn Porter faced, he could do a little bit of both, of all, and even fighters that Shawn Porter hasn't faced. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, when you look at Ugas and the way he's able to counter and time Shawn, was able to work his body, we're going to see that from Terence Crawford in this fight. Even the way that, Jesus Christ, something's going on out there. Even the way that, I'm just going to wait for the traffic to come by. Give me a minute. All right. Even the way, you know, you got Ugas, the way he works the body, the way he was able to time Shawn as he stepped in. You're going to see that from Terence Crawford. All right. You can see what Keith Thurman, the athleticism that we saw there, the movement, the hand speed, the power. You're going to see that from Terence Crawford. He's going to be stepping back, timing Shawn Porter as he comes in. He's going to be, you know, pivoting around Shawn, all right, and countering Shawn. All right. Also, Bud, he could do what Spence do. All right. He's a southpaw. He can fight orthodox. He can fight southpaw, but he can take that southpaw stance. He can work the body, but he can turn into a dogfight, walk you down. All right. Just try to, you know, use his size and his height and his reach. Shoot those straight lefts. He can do everything. You know, even other fighters that Shawn has been in there professionally with, like Usyk, the way he's able to use his lead hand to do so many things. All right. Pulling shots, probing shots. You know what I'm saying? Feinting. He's always in the rhythm, you know? So you see a lot of Usyk there. You see the angles of Lomachenko in there. You can see he can counter every single punch you throw at him. All right. He has speed. He has power. People keep talking about his size. People just say that he's too small, and they're not really paying attention to what this man can do. All right. This guy was a lightweight. He came up. He's a KO artist. He has a 75% KO ratio. But when he stepped up and fought the best fighters, he has KO'd the best fighters. Most of his decisions are in the earlier in his career when there were, where he wasn't going 12 rounds. All right. It wasn't championship level fights. It wasn't top contenders, the guys he wasn't stopping because he was still developing as a fighter. Once he started to show the true complete self in his last 14 fights, he's only let 2 guys go to a decision. Since the Gamboa fight, he's only let 2 guys go the distance with him. Okay. He stopped the best fighters. People say he's too small, moved up to welterweight. He stopped all of his welterweight opponents. Shawn Porter has never been a KO artist at all. He's a guy that outworks you. He has stoppages on his record, but Terence Crawford is more of the KO artist between him and Shawn Porter. And even in comparison to all the other welterweights, he has a high KO. He's KO'd every welterweight he's fought. Now, I understand people feel that he hasn't fought the very best welterweights in the division, but you have to look at what he's doing. Use your eyes, look at what this man is doing to get the stoppages. Okay. He's committed to stopping people, and I feel that he's going to stop or attempt to stop Shawn Porter in this fight, because this guy, even though he's been on a top pound for pound list for years now at this point, he's still hungry because people still doubt him. You have people that doubt him because they're big fans of Canelo. They don't like the fact that he's been placed higher on a pound for pound list at points. Maybe not now, but at certain points, he was rated higher on a pound for pound list on the ESPN's pound for pound list. And then you got all the PBC fans, the Errol Spence fans that feel that he needs to fight the PBC welterweights. He didn't fight any of those guys. So they're always slandering him. Then you got the Canelo fans slandering. You got people, he's the social media stuff. People get at him all the time. So he's always trying to prove himself. And when people doubt him, like the Kell Brook fight, before the fight, it looked like, Kell Brook had a great chance. He looked incredible before the fight. He has more experience, yada, yada, yada. And then he gets knocked out by Bud. And then it's like, all right, Bud is still overrated because Kell Brook was washed up. Amir Khan was washed up. Igas Kavalasquez is a nobody. Jose Benavidez is a nobody. Jeff Warren, he was not really that good. All right. Speaking of Jeff Warren, I think the best comparison to Shawn Porter would be him. If we're talking about welterweights, it would be because of the way that he likes to lunge into, be very physical. All right. And just the thing with Jeff Warren, he's not on the level of Shawn Porter. I think Shawn Porter is much quicker. Obviously, he's smarter. He's a better boxer than Jeff Warren. All right. And he just knows how to close the gap better. He knows, he can do what Jeff Warren can do, but he does everything better. So this is definitely an upgrade from Jeff Warren. All right. But I think people are failing to witness. They're just looking at size. Again, he keep looking at size. This guy is physically strong. I've said this in plenty of breakdowns with Terence Crawford. People underrate his strength. This guy used to be a wrestler, right? His sons are wrestlers, all right? He knows what he's doing. He knows how to tie up. You're not going to just get off and do what you want against him, all right? You can't just physically manhandle Terence Bud Crawford. So he's going to take all of your strengths and try to take them away from you, right? And on top of that, he's a switch hitter, all right? He can work the body. He can put pressure on you, all right? He can fight on his back foot and just time you and counter you all day, and that's another thing is he invests, and sometimes he'll have to take a punch to give a big one. So when we say, he's getting hit too much, like against Igas Kavalasquez, when he's getting hit too much, it's because he's investing by taking a shot to deliver a harder shot. You know what I'm saying? So fighting Shawn Porter, in my personal opinion, I think he's going to do everything to stop Shawn. I think Shawn in this fight, the difference between him and this fight, I think Shawn Porter is very aware of Terence. No matter what they said, people looking into these press conferences stuff, stop looking deep into that. But, same guy every single time it's fight week, right? He doesn't talk much. He just wants to get in there and fight. So the press conference, people are reading too much into that. I saw Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is just naturally, he has great energy. You know what I'm saying? what I saw in that press conference was nothing different from what I normally would see. All right. Shawn Porter, great energy. Terence Crawford is not into the interviews. He's just ready to fight. It's the same thing we see with every fight. All right. But I do believe that Shawn Porter is not going to just try to outwork Bud like he normally. Yes, he's going to pick his spots to get in there and get some work done. All right. And try to crowd Bud, the quote unquote smaller guy. All right. He's going to try to do that. All right. But I think at some points, he's going to start to really sit down on some of his punches. I think he's going to try to counter Bud with a hard shot and possibly hurt him. I don't think he's going to just try to win a decision here. I think he's aware that this guy that he's facing brings so much to the game. If anybody's aware, it's Shawn Porter. He knows Terence Crawford well. His father, Kenny Porter, knows Bud well. I think this guy is going to, when they say that they're going for a knockout, I believe them, because I think that going to distance with Bud will probably be a lot more troublesome. All right. But it won't be easy to connect with a good knockout, because Bud, even though he gets hit at times, all right, he does have a good chin as well. All right. And he does recover well. He's been hurt. He's been dropped. Well, he hasn't technically been dropped, but he's been rocked by some fires. Gamboa, Kavaliauskas rocked him. Benavidez landed some good shots against him. But again, Bud recovers very well, has a good chin. This is a guy that took a bullet to the head. Let's remember that. All right. So I think Porter is going to try to land some big shots in there, especially in the exchange. That's what Shawn Porter wants to do. You don't want to give Bud too much time to think. You want to use your speed, close the gap. But you got to understand that there's a lot of dangers with that too. Right? Because you have to deal with Bud working your body. You have to deal with Bud countering you. You got to deal with Bud's angles. You got to deal with a lot of stuff there. Plus, his footwork, his speed, his foot speed is incredible. He's able to get out of danger really quick. All right. So I think Bud, the way that I see this fight going, I see that, I think Bud might start out as an orthodox in this fight. I think for this one, I think he might start out. And I think part of the reason is sometimes when he steps up, he comes out straight out the gate as a lefty, and I think as a lefty, I mean, as a southpaw. I think he would be better as a southpaw, but I also believe that sometimes fighters get so adjusted as some fight as an orthodox fighter, and when Bud switches, it just kind of throws them off. Because now, if you go a few rounds with Bud fighting as an orthodox fighter, you got adjusted to him fighting that way. All right. So Shawn Porter is going to make better use of his jab, when he's fighting Bud as an orthodox fighter, because of the lead hand, won't be in the way. But at some point, Bud is going to change it. And I might be wrong. Maybe he comes out as a southpaw. What I'm saying is he could do whatever he wants. You don't know what to really expect from him. And in mid-round, he might just switch it up. Or he might switch it up and start out as a southpaw and then go to an orthodox, depending on what he wants to do. And that's a problem with fighting Terence Crawford. He's a master adjuster. Not only can he take a little bit of every single fighter that you fought, all of their strengths, and turn, and take advantage of all of your weaknesses, but he can adjust based on what's happening in that fight. So whatever you're doing, well, you can't do it for long. I say with Shawn Porter, I think on the inside, I think he's just going to be able to use his jab to close a gap. All right. Because you're going to be stepping in quickly, but Bud is going to be stepping out. All right. But regardless of what you do, oh, damn, I just lost my point. I think Porter, what he needs to do in this fight, he's going to have to feint a lot. And I don't know to mean like double feinting and shooting shots. Like I've seen him and Kenny working on some things. I also mean by like feigning to the body, feigning hooks to the body, looping them up top, especially because Crawford is going to be trying to step around and pivot and step around you. So you got to really feint shots and then throw them up top. I think Bud has been caught with some really, really big shots by fighters that was able to feint certain shots to the body. But the thing is with Bud, you can't keep doing the same trick neither. So you gotta have to constantly keep mixing it up. Like you gotta have to keep switching whatever you're doing that's working for you. Whatever is working for you, you can't stick with whatever's working with you. So you gotta have to keep constantly changing because Bud is gonna be looking to do all of that. Now, personally, how I see the fight going, I see Bud timing Porter to a point is going to make Porter slow down, similar to Ugas. He's going to be a lot more hesitant to step in. All right. So even though, and I do think Porter edged the fight with Ugas barely, only because Ugas wouldn't lead. He wouldn't take the lead. He was just always countering. Now it was working for him, but there was times where Porter was getting him too. The problem is with Bud is going to be countering too. Bud is going to be working the body too. But Bud is going to be coming forward and pressing the fight. And there's going to be a point where Shawn Porter is going to be forced to fight going backwards because he doesn't want to get countered. Because as the fight goes on, Bud is going to get adjusted to everything that Shawn Porter could do. Shawn Porter is going to show everything he got within the first few rounds. This is what happened with Kell Brook. Kell Brook was doing well the first 2 or 3 rounds until Bud kind of knew what he was going to do. He got the timing down. He's so measured, you know, he's such a measured fighter. He got the distance down. He got the timing down. He got the speed down. Everything that you can do, he got it down. And it's going to happen with Shawn. This is why I said Shawn got to keep mixing it up. But at the end of the day, Bud has a counter for every punch that's thrown. There's nothing that Shawn's done that Bud hasn't seen. Because people might say what they say about the level of opposition and everything, but Bud has experience fighting every type of fighter. And even if you do think Shawn Porter, pound for pound wise, because we got it when they say the best he fought, the best at welterweight. You know, Poster was the best at junior welterweight. Gamboa was the best at lightweight. He's learned from every single one of these fighters. You know, and I know Porter is very experienced, but think about it. You experience fighting certain guys that brought specific strengths where Bud brings all of those strengths into one guy. So I think what's going to happen is early on in the fight, it's going to be very competitive. At some point, Bud is going to figure out whether it's going to be orthodox, whether it's going to be southpaw. He's going to figure out what needs to do in order to beat Shawn Porter. And then he's going to start walking Shawn Porter down and trapping Porter, cornering Porter. Porter is going to be one on a retreat. All right. Now, can Bud knock Porter out? I don't know. I think he's more capable of Spence. Going into the Spence fight, I never thought Spence was going to knock out Porter. I predicted Spence to win the fight, but I thought it was absurd to think that Spence would stop Porter. And I know you guys are looking at it like, why wouldn't you think that? But you think that Bud is capable of doing it. Well, because I think Bud can do more than Spence. All right. I think he can do more. And I think he can hit Porter with shots that Porter just won't see, but more often and be more accurate. You know, when Spence dropped Porter, you see that shot when they both exchange. I see more of that from Bud more often. You know, some of the shots that we see Keith Thurman rock Porter with, I see Bud doing that continuously, you know, with combinations often. So I think he's capable of stopping Shawn Porter, more capable than any other welterweight out there. But will he do it? I don't know, because Porter knows survival tactics. Porter has a great chin. Again, he has a great chin. But I do believe that Porter will get dropped. And you know what? Early on in this fight, there's a possible that Terence Crawford might even get dropped or get rocked with a shot. He's been hurt. He's been hit before. But I feel like if that were to ever happen in this fight, Bud changes it to a different level. When Egas hit him with that shot and hurt him, the rest of the fight was over. You know, it was similar when Floyd got rocked by Shea Mosley twice in that second round. Floyd turned into a completely different gear for the rest of the fight. So if Porter is able to catch him with a good shot, he's going to pay for it shortly after. I have Bud winning this by unanimous decision. All right. And I also think he's capable of stopping Shawn Porter late in the fight. Very capable. All right. And when I say that, I mean stop him, not knock him out. I mean too much punishment. Shawn is not going to know what to do. All right. But my pick, I'm going for the UD, Terence Crawford. And it's going to be clearer than Spence, clearer than Kell Brook, clearer win than Keith Thurman. All right. So check me out this Saturday. I will be here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that, smash that like button on your way out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.